You sit over here, yeah. Well, welcome to Bremen. I'd like to say again, meeting your family, and I think I'd like to give a particularly warm welcome to the family. I think it's not just the family, it's your extended circle of friends, and half of Devon seems to be here. And we're extremely pleased that your children are here. Isabel, who's been incredibly helpful in managing you really, and arranging interviews and making sure that your travel is happening as well. Of course, your grandchildren are here, so we're extremely pleased to welcome you all here in Bremen.
I'm very grateful for everyone around here have made my stay like a heavenly stay, without worries about buses and trains.
Oh no, I think you don't need to travel
and
by bus anymore.
And telephones and email, no money, I've been looked after.
Well, did you read the paper this morning?
No, but I looked at it, yeah. Lovely paper, lovely photos, but I don't understand German.
Well, I think...
I wish I could learn in a minute.
I think the picture was enough, it said it all.
Oh, well, it does, really, yes.
And it wasn't the only cover page you were on of a newspaper, there was another one.
Yes?
The Tagesspiegel in Berlin as well, a couple of days ago.
Oh, man, marvelous. I'll be famous one day.
Yeah, we have to put a little bit more work in that, and then you'll be famous.
Yes, my work is not famous, but it's coming on.
I'm sure it will be a real interest in your work as well.
Yes.
But I think what, of course, everyone wants to know is, and I have to say that we had a few very intense days of interviews, of television, of radio interviews, of newspaper interviews, and it feels a little bit like a deja vu all over again, but you've been so wonderful, and I think it would be really great if again you maybe tell us a little bit about your encounter with Picasso, this historic moment in Vallauris almost 60 years ago. So why, first of all, why did you actually move to Vallauris on the Côte d'Azur?
Yes, because of my mother, who worked in a pottery in Dieu-le-Fils in the Drôme, and she was an artist. And I don't know why she moved to Vallauris, but maybe because it was a ceramic town, and she got a flat there, and we lived with her. After being at school in England, I came back with Toby, my boyfriend, and we lived in Vallauris. So we met Picasso only by chance. It's a chance encounter, because Toby, my boyfriend, worked near his studio in Vallauris, and he could see me walking there every day, I suppose, and sitting on a pottery on the roof, because they dry the pots on a flat roof, like a terrace. And there we drank coffee and smoked away, like young people do, chatting about I don't know what. I never chatted much. I listened a lot, and I looked. And one day we saw this picture above the wall of Picasso's studio. He came up. He was smaller than the wall, so we couldn't see anybody, but a picture with a girl with a ponytail. So we all thought, oh my goodness, we got to go, and he'll open the door. He did, he opened the door. We all came in, and he said, I want to paint Sylvette. He knew my name, so he must have heard about me from the village or the potters.
And you knew who he was?
Yes, I knew who he was, but I was very shy. Even though I was shy, I didn't mind being with Picasso. He put me at ease right away. No fear, and very nice.
But you're quite good at meeting famous artists. You also met Waltz in Dieu-le-Fils.
Yes, that was when I was 8 years old in the war. this painter Waltz, who's been exhibited here last year, isn't it?
Yes, very
It's a strange coincidence that I met this man and I was only a little girl of 8, and I used to watch him googling away and scribbling little pictures. I was fascinated, and he gave me a picture. Mind you, I lost it.
Well, unfortunately, you couldn't lend it to the show last year.
No, I could have. Yes.
But you also, I mean, people quite often thought you were English.
Yes, because I had, I went to school in England, in Summerhill, a famous school of freedom. And my mother read all the books of A.S. Neil, and she thought, oh, that would be good for them to go there. So I only learned English and to smoke and to fall in love with my first boyfriend.
So it was very liberal.
Very liberal.
But were you a rebel?
Pardon?
Were you a rebel?
A rebel? No, actually, I learned the piano. One tune, Fieur Elise by Beethoven. I played it on and on. You know, when you're young, you love something and you'll play it on and on and on and on. I still do it, actually. When I put some music, I like listening forever.
So you like this saxophone solo?
Yes, very nice.
Well, my parents had a Summerhill book as well, but they didn't put the theories into action.
Didn't they?
No, it was very strict and conservative, I'm afraid. But anyway, I think you had a more liberal upbringing.
And I wonder how you became a lover of art.
That was my being a rebel.
Good.
So, of course, the distinctive thing about your appearance was the ponytail. How did it happen that you wore a ponytail before many other young girls at the time?
I know. Well, there wasn't any ponytail like this one, so high. It's actually my father, whom I didn't see for a few years, or I wasn't brought up by him, but I didn't see him because he was a bit cross about me being with Toby without having a situation, as they say in French, une bonne situation. And
you mean you weren't married?
I wasn't married.
Terrible.
And my mother was so liberal that she didn't mind us not being married. And so we lived with her in her house, and it was wonderful, wonderful, Mom. So I was saying that my father actually said one day by telephone, I don't know how he told me, but because we didn't have mobiles and telephones in those days, he must have written to me. I wonder how did it. Anyway, he said you should wear this hair in a ponytail because I saw a ballet, and it was called Antigone, a Greek drama, and you look great with that. So I wanted to make him happy, and I did it. And I was very shy. Everybody was whistling down the street when I passed by. I think this hairstyle made Picasso really, he loved it, because he liked the Greek myth, I think, and it's very antique, my hairstyle. I think the more I look at those paintings, the more I see the figure as if it was eternal woman from very far in the distance. They look far away, isn't it?
Yeah,
another world, otherworldly maybe.
Yes. No, quite often they are quite reserved, and there's a look into far in the distance. You're right.
Very reserved, but the eyes go straight into you, or too far away, and the spirit of the dove is there. I see the dove, peace.
Yes.
Peace, war and peace. Maybe because I came after the war, and Picasso was doing lots of...
He was very politically engaged at the time, yes.
Yes, he was, wasn't he? With the Russian and all this.
Yeah. He went to
Stalin.
peace congresses, and then he painted the War and Peace Chapel in Vallauris.
Well, that's it. Yeah. It's a wonderful thing to see.
So when did Picasso ask you to pose for him?
Well, that was in, I forgot if it was March or something. I was wearing the grey coat, so it was quite fresh at that time.
Well, there's this picture we showed at the beginning with you, yes. Picasso, Paloma and Claude in the garden.
It must have been about March, I'd say.
And you're still wearing a coat, even
Yeah.
on the Côte d'Azur.
Yes, I like my coat. It was made by Toby. He was very talented. He could make anything, jewelry. He made me lots of rings and pebble stones hanging, and this amazing hairstyle. You've got a photo. It's very nice.
But you didn't like his beard.
No.
I had this very existentialist beard. It looked a bit trendy, really.
I know, even though, yes, Picasso painted many boys with beards, and Picasso never had a beard. Amazing.
You said you always was very clean shaven.
Very clean and smelled nice. He didn't smell of wine and garlic and cigarettes.
Despite the fact he was a complete chain smoker.
Yes, he was, because he made a mountain of... He would put all his packets, which were lovely blue, on and make a pile like a pyramid. And I think it's a bit of an installation of the 50s.
Before the word installation existed.
I never understood it. Installation. And then I remembered this pyramid of blue cigarette. And he would laugh and say, look how many I've smoked in a year.
Or last week.
He was a comic. He liked laughing, joking, and behaving like a clown. I think he was a bit of a clown, a clever one, because he tried to get me to undress, I think.
That was quite clever.
But he never managed.
Thank God. So
it's a shame, because now I would see myself in nude.
Well, but actually you didn't need to do that, because there's a painting of you in the nude without ever having posed nude.
Yes, one in the museum. It's lovely.
From Japan.
Is it from Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so wonderful. They have good taste, the Japanese.
Yeah, they like naked ladies as well.
They love naked. Well, me too. I paint pictures with naked ladies. I love them, but I do it like Picasso. I love the quick drawing. He taught me a lot without saying a word. I learned without words.
What were the sessions like? I mean, you went there to the studio, Toby delivered you?
Yes, every day. Toby would come in with me and have a little chat. And maybe Picasso drew a spider on the floor once. And then he forgot about it and jumped high above. And we thought he was going mad.
But you were sitting and he was painting you? Or drawing you?
Yes, I was sitting in a rocking chair, looking far in the distance at the hills of Valoris and the smoke in the chimneys, the roof of the potteries. Now it's full of skyscrapers. It's very ugly, terrible.
But it was a small village then?
But it's still small, but they built up.
But what was Picasso's studio like?
Well, it was very nice, very simple, lots of pictures all around and potteries and hanging. And I love his pots, they inspired me. The pots were on the floor. He painted with big pots of paint, which run down the floor. He didn't mind the mess.
And what do you think Picasso liked especially about you?
Well, I think... Actually, he had his wife Françoise, who left with her 2 children, and at that time he loved having his children around. I think he was very happy for a while, but when they left, he felt quite lost, because he told me, I kept saying, thank you for giving me such a beautiful picture, so generous, of you. And I didn't know what to give him for. But he said, oh no, you were there at the right time to console me.
And he once did offer you to pay for being a model for him.
Yes, that's another little trick. He said, I'll pay you some money. And I thought, oh, if he pays me, he then will want me to take my clothes off. And I thought, no, I can't do that. So I said, no, thank you. I love posing for you. It's a pleasure.
So you were quite strong, really.
I was strong, but proud, I think. I mean, I needed money, but I didn't say it. I was very prude. So he asked Toby to cut the metal sculptures, which he was paid for. That's how he made me have money, because Toby, if he had money, I had some too.
And then he also gave you a painting and a drawing.
Oh, well, that, yeah. I was very spoiled. And then at the end of our session, he gave me a book, a beautiful book, which is in the museum, signed with for Sylvette David, with, not with love, but I put with love.
And of course, he was not a great speller. He spelled your name wrong almost every time. He signed, he dedicated something to you.
You didn't know it was a Y, he put an I, Sylvette.
But then I think in the book he corrected himself, so.
Yeah, maybe he did, yes. Yes, it has a Y in the book.
And you chose, maybe you tell us which painting you chose and why.
Well, at the end of our session together, there was a room, and he said, come and see Sylvette. And I looked inside, and there was millions of my portraits. I didn't know which one to choose. I liked one which was abstract, but I preferred the one from the front. There was a lovely one from the front, gray and black and white. But I chose the left, the one with the side, which was very like me, like a photograph.
It's a beautiful painting, and the other one you had your option on was the one from Chicago.
Oh yeah, that one I liked, but it was a bit more abstract. So actually, young people like something more real, maybe. You get to love the abstract later when you know more. Oh, I can't help looking.
There are lots of pictures of you. So now coming to Bremen and seeing the exhibition, have you got a favorite work in the show, or has your taste changed?
I love them all, but I like the Bremen one best. I think it revealed me. He saw something of my being, really, my inner being, and the essence of my life. And it's coming out now in great, I'm very moved to be here.
It must be quite strange now, 60 years later, to be reunited with all these pictures.
I've been wanting to do that for years. You know, I said that to you. I thought, how did you think of it? And you said, I don't know why nobody thought of it before.
Well, it's an obvious idea.
Yeah, it's an obvious idea, but nobody had it. Yeah. So thank you, Christoph.
It was a pleasure.
And thank you, Bremen, and all of you.
You're... Danke.
No. Danke.
Das ist nicht nötig.
It's not finished yet.
I want to ask one more thing, which of course is that you are now an artist yourself. You have been working as an artist for many years, and how important was your encounter with Picasso in your decision to become an artist?
Well, it was very important because he gave me confidence in me, which I never had any confidence. But I didn't start painting before I was 45. It took all these years to mature, to how do you say, like a cow eating the grass, you know. You wait and wait to hear the right sound and what to do. And I had a family, and I had to divorce twice, so life was very busy. And actually, life is difficult, so I have all that in the middle. I love my children and my husband, but now I feel free like a bird. Fly away. Fly away.
And you've got a lovely studio in Devon. I mean, you have a house where you live, and then you've got a really beautiful building where you work. And
it's full of art. And I love it. It's my sanctuary. I love sitting in there. And I don't even listen to music much, because I like to hear my own sounds which gives me inspiration. And oh, it's marvelous, really. The silence brings a lot of ideas.
And you're having a big show opening soon in London.
Yes, I
on the
have.
4th of March, if you happen to be in
at
London.
Francis Gall Gallery. Are you here, Francis? Are you here?
There he is.
And we'll all go on the 4th of March to the gallery in Maddox Street in London, near Regent Street. Very handy.
Well, I have to thank you again for this incredible experience. When I first wrote you a letter and said, can we do an exhibition with you of your portraits of by Picasso, you immediately said yes. You were most generous with your time, really absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
You've done endless interviews. You went to Valéry's with a television, with Arte Television.
Loved it. I've been very spoiled. I really enjoyed it all.
But you've also been absolutely wonderful, and I think it's been a fantastic experience to have you here next to the works, to be so engaged in the exhibition. And I'd like to thank you again for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Sylvette.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Christoph. Wow. Thank you very much. Lovely. Oh, those are fantastic.
Why don't you sit down?
I will take